Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and a quick update over at the Pokrovsk Front, which is over here. This is Pokrovsk, and so there is a triple capture acknowledged by the Ukrainian side. The Ukrainian mapping Deep State UA have acknowledged that the Russians have captured Pischane, Yasinove, as well as Slovianka, all on the same day, on the 16th, and all have been taken, which is all pretty much expected. They are all what I call on the verge of capture for quite a number of days, and they are now virtually captured. No, not verge anymore. It's their virgins. So over in the Slovians, you can see their mapping have basically mapped that the entire Slovians is taken by the Russian forces. So this is one. The other one is over at Yasinove. So this is a bit more interesting because previously the mapping was like this. Then after there was a geolocation that shows the Russian forces probably taking this position, and the Ukrainian mapping then came out and showed that they have taken this entire tree line, as well as the rest of Yasinove in the north, which confirms the full capture of Yasinove. And the continuation from here also means that the Russians have now southern flank south of Novoandrievka, and they could potentially now attack northward and take Novoandrievka from the bottom. So very kinky. So that's all from Novoandrievka, Yasinove. And then there's the other one is over at Pischane, with the Russian forces basically have taken the rest of this northern part of Pischane, which we were waiting for this confirmation for a bit of time. The Russian Defense Ministry have announced the capture on the 13th, so it took a few days before we can have this confirmation. And on top of that, other than the triple capture, there is also some developments, particularly over in the Kotliny region up to Vivrove. So the entire Ukrainian defense here have broke down. Russian forces have continued to storm on along the railway line and captured the south of Kotliny. They have also expanded control north of Pischane and west of Vivrove, with the Russian forces taking multiple tree lines along this area, creating a very strong foothold in this area for them to continue to punch out. There is allegedly some defenses, some trenches around here. This is not mapped by me, so I've taken from someone else. So allegedly there's some trenches around here. So these defense positions might be the last hope before the Russians actually just continue to storm on and taking other positions like over here, and also continuing down the railway line, which the Russians like to do. They like to go down the railways, and with this kind of situation, I think Kotliny is in deep trouble. Russian forces could attack now in the pincer around Kotliny and capturing the entire of the settlement. So, and this also allows the Russians to now attack from a different direction on Vivrove, on top of the frontal assault coming from the west towards Vivrove. So a lot of situations all around here, this area here. My perspective for this is that the Russians are going to build a defense line, probably along here, and maybe up to this point. Yeah, maybe they might even go further to this point, but maybe not. Maybe up to Vivrove. Maybe this is enough, and then have a no man's land between the city and them, as they continue to push northward in a major arrow offensive to go on to the other highway and cut it. So if they are able to continue on to this point, and this is the area, then they would be around 1.5 kilometers away from the highway, and they are able to go and shut it down and create a much stronger foothold like this, and then put Pokrov into a very difficult position where the Russians can attack it from 3 different directions. So this is just one action that is currently ongoing. I think the Russians will go down the railway line so that it's easier to reach the other highway. Because if they are able to reach to this point, the highway is much nearer, and the other railway line is also much nearer. They can actually leapfrog easily to cut the highway. So I think this is currently the aim for the Russians, because going down the railway line might be more defendable. As I said, the railway forest is actually very defendable. So for the Russians to hold that position, it also allows the Russians to hold it better. The problem with the Ukrainians right now is they do not have the weaponry, the artillery, and the air support to actually take out fortified positions like the Russians can. Like the Russians have already been using TOS again. We see the return of TOS. We still occasionally see fabbings. So all these weaponry can destroy heavy fortifications or heavily entrenched positions, and that's what the Ukrainians do not have. So the Russians going along the railway line, holding positions within the forest or the railway forest is going to be super helpful for them to hold a position. So situation continued to collapse. Like this area is 2.51 square kilometers. It's like this other one is another 2.5. So the Russians are continuing to moving pretty extensively around this area. So yeah, I think we currently are seeing the Ukrainian foot troops not defending at all. Like they are just falling back tactically, keep falling back. It's not a bad thing, we have always been criticizing the Ukrainians for not falling back, but this is Pokrovsk. This is Pokrovsk. If this falls, then a big chunk of Donetsk is going to collapse, and it will lay the groundwork for the Russians to continue to push northward and totally avoid taking Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. They could potentially just go all the way north and then go to and then they meet the other forces coming to Izium, and then do a massive encirclement. The Russian forces previously went as far as Bavinkove, I think. They were attacking this area here. They didn't manage to hold positions. They were around this area here, or maybe around this area here. I cannot remember. I think somewhere around here. Yeah, they were stuck around here. This area here is where the Russians got stuck. But they did it before, so they could potentially do it again. Because the operational situation along the Oskil River is not that positive either for the Ukrainians. So, but of course, this is a massive operation. I think this would take at least a year if the Ukrainians continue to be able to continue to send troops, to be able to mobilize troops, to be able to train them and throw them into trenches and continue to get supplies and money from the West. Yeah, then potentially they could still hold this for another year. But even when I say 1 year is actually pretty fast, it's way faster. Like we are talking about 1 year is only like this. So in the previous last year's speed is here. So if 1 year they can match the two forces from two sides, is way faster than what happened last year. So anyway, this is just a very, like I said, the faster they would take is 1 year if the Ukrainians can continue to keep up the defensive operations. But if they can't, then they might see a much more bigger breakout. But tentatively, no signs of that yet. Things is just collapsing steadily in a very stable collapsing. Stable collapse. It's not like a big collapse at this moment. The Ukrainians still are fighting. So there's at least they're still fighting, So if they can't fight, then it's another story altogether. So Trump's going to be inaugurated soon. So life is going to change drastically in Ukraine. So let's see how this continue to play out for our YouTube enjoyment. Unfortunately, so hopefully the war will end potentially just like in Israel and Gaza. Hopefully people stop dying. Thank you for watching. People will still die, they die of old age and illness, but stop dying stupidly. And I'll see you guys in the next update.